Right. Take 2 of the recording. This is just to test settings. I think the audio sounding pretty decent with my microphone lower, but game sounds will be important. I'm just going to fiddle with some tools here. See if the game noise is loud enough for someone who's listening. I have got a mod on that reduces the sound of tools, so that could be part of it. But basically what I've done here is I've got a base set up at the start of this Triton start. Main gimmick of this series is I have no spacesuit whatsoever, which is going to make living very difficult. Now, I also have some survival mods on, and we'll be seeing some less than savory critters on this planet at some point, hopefully, so I'll be needing some weapons. The ultimate end goal of this series is to reach Mars, find the hidden monolith, and lay a hand on it. Doing that is going to be very hard because Mars has no breathable atmosphere, so I'm going to need to build an enclosure around the monolith first before doing that. I have started up with a little base here, just done the absolute bare minimum of mining of stone, skip that boring part of the game out because nobody wants to watch me mine stone for a million years. By hand, of course. I will be using ships, mining vessels, and all that kind of thing later on. I found some silver over there in the distance, so that'll be useful if I die. This mod that gives me no suit is kind of finicky and it likes to put you back in a suit. So I'll be needing a medbay to switch that out as frequently as required. My first goal for this series is to go up into the mountains, build a nice little cozy base that has a hangar, a landing pad, and then I can springboard off from there, head to Mars, do all kinds of things. I do have a lot of enemy encounter mods on, so we should be seeing some assertive things coming along eventually. Reavers, they're in the game as well. I've got all sorts of stuff going on. Don't have any shields or anything like that, so I'm going to have to build some very safe and secure ships to get around, especially in space where there is literally nothing to breathe. Okay, so we have a refinery on the go. I'm currently short about 7,000 iron ingots, so I'm going to do some iron mining, which is over here. Unfortunately, I can't just fly over in my jetpack, so I'm going to have to do some running. It'll be very important for me to get vehicles, but I think I want to build a simple station first, and then a vehicle. So then I can go prospect around for some more resources. Some silicon would also be very useful. Another thing to mention about this series is I have the projector plugin that does subgrids. So I will actually be able to project and print off things with subgrids. So mechs and all sorts are completely available. It's something I usually stray away from because of, you know, not being able to print the subgrid. It just isn't really any fun when your mech gets destroyed. But being able to repair them with the subgrid projector plugin will be very useful. So I'm just going to mine some iron for a little while, and I'll get back to you in just a second. Now, because of the abundance of resources I have here in terms of ice, I think I'm just going to go full coal baron and turn this entire planet into a fuel source because, you know, why I need renewables when the entire planet is made out of ice. So to begin with, for my base, I think I'm just going to start off with constructing a little hydrogen engine. I believe that will be the most useful way to power the base in the long term, and especially in the short term, rather than needing to rely on solar or wind turbines, especially when that refinery is going. No one wants to listen to that just go on and on and on and on and on. But I refuse to build another wind farm because that's just really boring. So I am going to start with a hydrogen engine. I think I'm going to line it up like this. And I'm going to put a hydrogen engine probably facing the outside of the base. I suppose it would be nice if it wasn't buried in the ground, but it will look a little bit weird as it is. I'm just going to place these like that. Now I did have a refinery building, so I'm going to change this over to a hydrogen engine, and a H2O2 generator. So we'll get the parts for those done first before doing the refinery. So let's just clear this and see what we can manage out of these two. We'll put the rest into production. So that will require a lot less iron than doing a full refinery. So I'm going to go back to the iron mine, and I will see you back at the base when I have enough to build these power generating systems. Okay, well this should be more than enough iron for the time being to build these. So let's construct these. Just one power cell left, really. Let's see if we can... it's already done. Okay, now we can chop off this ugly ass wind turbine and just use the one that's there for just keeping everything just barely running. Although this will take a certain amount of power to produce any hydrogen anyway. But once the engine's going, we'll be okay. Since Keen rebalanced hydrogen, I've been really looking forward to just doing a whole series using hydrogen as power. Because, yeah, renewables are just pretty inferior.
Inventory full.
It will also save me a lot of effort in building, because these are far more compact than building wind farms. So let's get some hydrogen in there.
Energy low.
That probably doesn't have enough input power, I would imagine. So we'll just turn the refinery and the assembler off for the time being. Should see. So it's currently not producing any hydrogen. I assume that's because this engine isn't on properly. I might need to put a control seat on this so I can turn the whole grid on and off. Shouldn't need a hydrogen tank, as just like it needs an output for the hydrogen. I imagine that is why it's not producing anything at the moment. So that is lined up with the conveyor port on that tank properly. So yeah, let's build a control seat. I'll use a fairly similar amount of parts. This one's a little cheaper, let's just build that. That probably requires stuff for a proper assembler, I imagine. Well, let's see how much of this we can build. Oh, there we go, now it's activated. Classic space engineers, eh? So that is now producing me some hydrogen. That tank is filling up nicely. And we'll just keep that supplied with ice over time. So now I can just chop off this ugly ass piece. We don't need this anymore. And then we can build our base around this section and just keep mining ice from that hole over there. So I'm going to lay a foundation first. I'll probably build out this way and leave the hydrogen engine on the outside. That seems to be fairly logical. Then I'll be installing a proper refinery and a proper assembler, and we'll be able to build vehicles from there. I think I'm going to structure the foundation as just a bit of a rounded sort of base, something like you might see as a little just stationary outpost, so something along this line. I'm going to need to build it up layer by layer, because I cannot fly. Unless I'm going to be welding with a ship, which is what I intend to do later on in the series. Be doing a lot of welding by ship. And this wind turbine's a little in the way, so I'm just going to relocate this to the top of my basic refinery for the time being. Going to need to make a little scaffold to get up there. Well, that probably can't put it there anyway. Let's just put it on the top of this. I need a block and scaffold across. And I'm going to put my wind turbine up here. Placing that's going to be a little tricky. I need to go one block out. And then we should be able to place it. There we are. Get that welded up. We can clear off this. Now we have a little bit more room to work with. And yes, as classic me, I appear to have built everything as even numbered, so that's going to be a little challenging to work with, but I've already placed it down, so I'm going to leave it as it is, just for this simple little base. So now I'm going to start filling in the floor. And yes, as I might have imagined, running to and from this iron hole is getting tedious very quickly, so I think I'm going to build a little mining ship as soon as possible. I have plenty of power through hydrogen, so I don't have to be super stingy with my energy and build rovers to do all the mining, so I think I'm just going to build a little ship that can operate as both a mining vehicle and a welding device. Turn these refinery and the assembler back on. Now I'll start using energy from this engine, which should last for quite some time. And that's putting out a lot more energy than my wind turbines was. So we'll have plenty of time to get things sorted out. Yes, that is definitely even numbered. Okay, putting a connector on that is going to be interesting. Maybe I'll probably just pipe it out this way through the floor. Or maybe out here. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Maybe put like a little pipe coming out this way, I reckon. Space is going to be really ugly to start with, but that's okay. We're just here to build a little hangar so I can start building some useful ships to start with. So let's get some steel plate on the go. Hopefully I'll have enough iron ingots for that, but I'm definitely going to need to do some more trips. Might be a bit more resource efficient to make these out of interior walls, so I think I'm going to do that instead. Let's build some interior walls instead. So, these exterior blocks I'll leave as armor, but these internal ones I will change to interior wall. That'll just save on some resources and time. If anyone has any suggestions, please feel free. I'll look at comments, anything. This is my first sort of YouTube experience, so I'm excited to see what the opportunities are. I think I'm just going to go with a nice, simple, flat side to start with. I am a big fan of the sci-fi interior wall. I use it a lot more often than the regular original interior wall. So let's get some of those on the production. Need a bunch of interior plates and some construction components, and that will take a lot less material. I'll be able to build a lot more walls out of that. building up this cargo container is going to be pretty important. So I'll get that on the go as well. Need some small steel tubes, construction components, and one display. So let's get that done as well, because I'll need the storage space in a minute, I imagine. The weather appears to be getting a little bit more inclement over time. Oh, yeah. As I say that, it is definitely starting to snow. And that is going to start draining my power a bit faster as it goes into the ultra freeze that is native to Triton. But we shouldn't be experiencing any major issues until we start going up in the mountains where the oxygen is going to get a bit thin. So I'll need to build some structures around there, or vehicles that have plenty of oxygen supply. Now I need to switch over this. I need some components. I've got plenty of interior plates. Yeah, I think building a nice warm shelter ASAP would definitely suit me. This guy must be some sort of superhuman to be able to survive in this kind of weather. Yes, there we go, we've got that. I have a cargo container on here, so I'm just going to transfer some of the stuff I dug out earlier. Just get a bit more room. I've got my food and water system in here, and I believe this battery's got tons of power. So I'll just leave that there, making me food and water for the time being. The silver I will use when I've got my refinery and my assembler going. Actually, I might just build the assembler into the ground here. And then I'll have like a refinery on the outside here. That seems reasonable. Leave. I have all the parts for that. And do I want a conveyor port? Yeah, I think I will leave a conveyor port available. And then this will need to be a conveyor of some sort. For it to be airtight and warm, I'm going to need to use a conveyor junction. Like this. Let's have that lined up nicely.
Energy low.
I'll just place it like that. And now for the refinery. I have some options. And I think I really would like it to be on that side, I guess, but I am just going to place it like this. And that should get the job done. And I can put like a little window here or something like that, perhaps. And let's get this floor done. I have expanded my character inventory to the next level up. I believe that's the 4 times inventory size, and I chose to do that because I'm not going to be able to fly around ferrying materials everywhere, and it kind of makes sense if I've got less of a jetpack, I've got more room for stuff. There we go, that's looking a lot nicer. So then we need to set these up to produce.
Energy critical.
Gonna go get some energy while I freeze over here. Making me feel right at home in winter now. Okay, so I'm going to set this up to build my assembler and refinery. I'll come back in a bit when I have the resources to assemble those. And I am just going to quickly try and attach a landing gear to this pod, so that it's not just dangling there on the ground. Now hopefully I can get back into that. Yep. Okay, let's just land that. There we go. Set that up. Lovely. Could even really fly this around, I suppose. Just attach a hydrogen engine to it. Perhaps. I could add some vector thrusters onto it as well. That would make it nice and simple. But I think I am going to build a skimmer craft instead. I don't really like reusing the pod that they start you with. That's kind of what everyone does. It is the dead of night now, but I still have yet to find enough iron to scrounge together to build this refinery, so I'll get back to digging that. Okay, that's all done, so now I have enough. Got a refinery fully complete, and I believe that's just started to do the silver. Yes, it has. Okay, so I'm going to transfer these into this container, get rid of that and that. So let's just chop this off. Makes a very satisfying thunk. Yeah, let's just spill all the contents everywhere. Why not?
Inventory full.
Right. Clean off that bit. I can put like a little entry ramp or something on there. Let's fill these up. The assembler, I'm going to chuck in all the materials to build things. I'll leave that in there. Gravel, there as well. So we've actually probably got enough materials here, except for some tubes, to make a little vehicle to run around and pick up these unknown signals, but I think I'm just going to complete the walls of this base first, as I have plenty of steel plate and interior plate. So let's get those out. So, something like this. Thinking I'm going to place the wall like this. Maybe just on the corners. As this. Do you want to have access for a ship to dock with this? That can probably be done off the side of the refinery. So I'll put in a wall like that and that. Cover up these ugly ports. Let's chop this light off. Fill that in. And let's finish off the floor. Probably put in some of the new window blocks or something like that, I reckon. So I think I'm going to put a door here, maybe a little vent here. Just one on the outside, one on the inside, so I can have a nice warm pressurized interior. Then I can set up like a little living quarter and then put a roof on it. And then I'll be able to attach any vehicles to the sides of the refinery. So I will get back to you when that is done. Okay, and there we have it. Space Engineer's equivalent of a Minecraft dirt hut is now complete. It's got a roof and an airtight interior, so if we want, we can have a nice, warm, cozy bed to sleep in. I might just expand this light a little bit. This is the build vision mod, which enables you to check in lots of inventories. It's very useful. I might put a dispenser in here so I can get some food teleported to me from the great beyond, but for the time being, I think this is it, and I will call this episode 1. So, let me know what you think, and I look forward to making more videos like this. Thank you.